What if you could stop asking your tarot cards what's going to happen and start asking them what's really going on? I'm not just going to give you a reading today. I'm going to give you the exact 3-card framework that I use as a spiritual investigator to crack the case in my own deepest patterns. You're not just doing a reading, you're opening a case file on yourself. You are the detective, your life is the evidence. Let's begin briefing. So let's open a case file on, say, chronic procrastination. That's something that quite a few people struggle with. So the first card will be the core program, or the core subconscious program that is leading us to have chronic procrastination. The analogy for the core program would be, this is the virus in your operating system. It's the deep, often unconscious instruction. And then the second card will be the active symptom, or how that chronic procrastination manifests for us. The analogy for the active symptom would be, this is the pop-up error message you keep seeing, the repeated argument, the failed goal, the chronic anxiety. And then the third and last card will be the key to recode, or the key to, or what we need to do to disrupt our pattern of chronic procrastination. The analogy for the key to recode would be, this is the line of code, the administrative password, the insight that gives you back control to rewrite the program. So the core program, we got justice. For the active symptom, or how that chronic procrastination manifests for us, we got 5 of Cups. And for the key to recode, or the key to disrupt this pattern of chronic procrastination, or how to break this chronic procrastination, we got Page of Wands. With the Justice card for the core program, I feel like we get a bit of a feeling of things not being balanced, or maybe not being balanced in this instance, but things not being, balanced. You could say balanced. Things not being lined up the way that we want. We sometimes refuse to act on things if we feel like things are not in place, or if you, or maybe you feel like the scales are not tip right, or things are not lining up right. Meaning, for example, say you are doing a creative project and you have this grand idea that it may cost a lot of money for like decorations or the backdrop or whatever. We may feel like not taking action on things if we feel like steps are missing or things are missing, or not knowing how to. I feel like it's more like things are missing or things are not balanced. Like you feel like if you don't have the grand production, then there's no point of even starting the project. If you don't have the money to create the backdrop or buy the costumes or hire the actors, it's like not wanting to improvise or not wanting to how can I put this? It's like you want the complete picture. You want all the ducks to be lined up. You want all the T's to be crossed and all the I's to be dotted. But sometimes things are missing. Sometimes, okay, say you want to learn how to code and you see a class online, or maybe someone else is taking a class and they tell you the class is $1,000, but you don't have the $1,000 to pay for the class. But you can go on, what's that site? Like sites like Udemy or YouTube or something to learn just as much information. It's like not willing to give and take. So it's like if you can't go all the way, you don't want to go any way at all. It's like you use not having the finances or not having the resources to use that as an excuse on why you won't even take a few steps. Looking at seeing like the tips being favored for other people, like, oh, they were able to create this because they have all the people to help them, or all the finances to buy the things that they need, or they have the finances to buy the class to learn how to code or whatever. Instead of just taking baby steps, it's kind of like looking at what everybody else can do or how everyone else can do something on a grand scale, and because you can't do it on that big of a scale, it seems like it's unfair and it makes you not want to act at all. But you need to take baby steps. And then for the how it manifests, or the core symptom, how it manifests, I feel like it leads to depression. 5 of Cups, it leads to depression, and it leads to us kind of looking more at what we don't have versus what we do have. You know what I mean? Like looking at what could go wrong instead of looking at what can go right. So we don't want to move forward. We don't want to act on certain things because we're focused on how other people can do it on a bigger scale, how things seem to line up better for other people, and it leads us to be a little depressed and kind of crying over spilled milk, crying over just it's like comparison, like crying over how someone else was able to go just write a check to pay for a class versus you having to spend $20 on a Udemy class to get the exact same outcome. So it's kind of like, if I can't do it that way, I don't want to do it at all kind of attitude, which leads to procrastination. And then for the key to recode, or the key to disrupt this pattern, is we have the Page of Wands, which to me is it's a spark of creativity. It's a spark of excitement. So
using that excitement to just go full force. Using that excitement, once you get that idea, once you get that spark of creativity, once you get that, kind of lightning bolt in your mind, like, oh, this would be a great idea, just act on it. Just do whatever you can do with what you have. You know what I mean? Do what you can do with what you have. If you can't spend $1,000 on a class, get on the internet. There's so many resources to learn new things. YouTube, they might as well just call it YouTube University, because it's so many people creating content. Now you have TikTok as well, creating content on how to do something or how to look for resources to do something. So if it's a class, instead of just saying I don't have money for a class, get on YouTube, get on Google, get on TikTok, and maybe research financing to pay for classes, scholarships. It's so many untapped resources out here that we can use to get the things that we want and need in life. You understand what I'm saying? If it's a creative project, it's resources out here. Sometimes there are even local level resources out here that a person can use or apply for to help them finance whatever it is. I remember a few years ago, there was a kind of like a scholarship thing in Atlanta, Georgia, in the actual city of Atlanta, for content creators to help them. They could use these funds to help them buying, the items that they needed or the tools that they needed, maybe cameras, maybe lights, maybe props to create their content. So looking for using that excitement that you have, don't let it die. You understand what I'm saying? Like, let that take you wherever you need to go. Act on it immediately. Page of Wands is something quick. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if you really want to think about the Page of Wands, you could think of this as, that thing that goes into something else that creates life. You understand what I'm saying? So using that spark, that idea, and just going full force with it, letting that excitement carry you. Because what happens is when you have an idea and you just start acting on it, you don't think about resources, you don't think about finances, you don't think about how you're going to pay for it, you don't think about the end result. The universe starts to send opportunities and people your way to help you to achieve your goals when you're acting on your highest excitement. You understand what I'm saying? When you're acting on that spark and you're not thinking about how is it fair that this person has this money, or this person has this opportunity, or this person has this person that they can call to help them build whatever they're trying to build. Sometimes if we don't have that help in the physical, we have to use our excitement and building up that momentum or that vibration or that frequency to help us attract the things and the people that we need to build whatever we're trying to build, or accomplish whatever we're trying to accomplish. You understand what I'm saying? Unfortunately, the playing field is not always equal in life. Some people have more access to resources and people that they can call and support, and that they can lean on to get things done. And some of us have to use our creativity. We have to really put our thinking caps on. And with the help of the internet and technology, YouTube, TikTok, Google, we can find the resources and the things that we need to help us get the things done that we want to do, so that we don't have to feel depressed or feel like we're missing out on something, or just focus on what we don't have instead of focusing on what we do have. And I personally believe we do all have everything that we need inside of us to accomplish our goals. We just have to be creative. Page of Wands, just being creative about getting the financing that you need, being creative about getting the resources that you need, and acting on that. calling people, researching, filling out applications, whatever you have to do. You understand what I'm saying? Building something up from the ground up. Some of us, we should not let procrastination stop us from getting what we want to get or having what we want to have. We should be using our ideas and our creativity as fuel and building upon that fuel. You know, like kind of like a car. Like, you know, you're tapping on a gas, and the more you tap on it, the faster it goes. You see what I'm saying? So the more you focus, you know, use your excitement, use that as fuel to start thinking outside the box, the more the universe can gather things and people and let it come our way to help us out. You understand what I'm saying? So don't, what I feel is the key to getting over procrastination is not worrying about what other people have, not looking at how unfair it is and how the scales are tipped in certain people's way and how it's, you know, it's so unbalanced and things like that. But looking at what we do have to get what we want.
So that's the framework. Core program, active symptom, recode key. Investigating your own blind spot is hard. Sometimes you need an external investigator. If you're ready for a deep dive, that's what my one-on-one pattern spotter readings are for. Click the link in the description box to book. If this is your first time stopping by, thank you so much. My name is Kai. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share.